Welcome back to another episode of Personal Injury Today, where we discuss the hot topics to help attorneys better understand their clients' cases and come to a fair settlement. Today we're answering the great question of, are positive imaging results enough to help you get the settlement you need or want for your client? Stay tuned. Welcome, and today we're talking about, are positive imaging results enough to help you get the settlement you want and need for your clients? Let's find out the answer. We're here with Dr. Brad Poppie. Hello and welcome. Dr. Brad is the founder of Injury Reporting Consultants that helps attorneys to resolve their clients' personal injury cases through evidence-based medical analysis and reporting. Welcome.
Thank you.
And let's just dive into that question. I have a hunch of what the answer might be, but are positive imaging results enough to really get that settlement that you need and desire for your client?
I think yes and no. So years ago, diagnostic tests were weighed very, very heavily in the fact that, let's say, a post-accident MRI showed a fresh disc bulge or a disc herniation. That's certainly a big problem, okay? Or let's say that there was a flexion extension x-ray performed on the cervical spine and they found that there was instability due to a interspinous ligament tear, something like that. That's a big deal, and that can certainly be a case driver for sure. But with the research, the years and years and years of research that have been done, it's very known and very prevalent that a lot of people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, etc., already have example disc bulges, okay? And they're pain-free, okay? They don't have pain. So a positive disc finding on an MRI, for instance, it's like, well, so what?
It may not be super substantial to the case.
Right.
Or weigh very heavily.
Right. So they're still done, of course, and they can still, and they're objective, which is good, but they're not a tell-all as far as, you know, this is exactly what's going on with the patient, and this is why you should get policy limits, et cetera, things like that.
Okay, so you're saying that they don't necessarily directly determine the outcome of that settlement.
Right, correct. There's many other factors.
Okay, before we get into those factors and understand this better, I want to take a moment to have you all thumbs up, like this video, share it with other attorneys and your clients, and more importantly, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification so that you're updated every time we put out a new episode. All right, so what other tests can be performed to really help complement diagnostic studies and their results to get the settlement that you are looking for?
Sure. So like we just talked about, when you have a positive finding on an MRI, a CT scan, or maybe a flexion extension x-ray, yeah, it's substantial, but again, what is the pain generator? Is that ligamentous tear a pain generator? And is that going to affect their daily life? I mean, maybe not. But we need to objectify how those positive diagnostic findings affect someone's ability to perform work-related activities, activities of daily living, and leisure activities. So it comes down to a functional assessment. Well, what do we have in our tool belt for that? It's the functional capacity evaluation, okay? It's the gold standard on how we document those things. So the functional capacity evaluator will look at the diagnostics. They look at all the medical records and kind of puts that into a file in their brain. And then they actually perform the test on the client, and they collaborate with, the medical records and their test findings to produce a report that really highlights or showcases it confirms the diagnosis, but also quantifies the severity of it via what the client can or cannot do functionally from a functional standpoint. And then those are extrapolated into their ability to perform work activities. Because that's what we want to know. You may have a internal derangement in your spine, bad, but so what? How does it affect you? Do you have pain from it? Do you have loss of function? What impairments? The FCE determines that. So it's actually required.
That's great. So instead of relying just simply on your positive imaging results, you want to back that up with an FCE all the time, always.
Yes, absolutely.
Great, thank you so much. If you liked this video, make sure you share it, make sure you subscribe. And then the last thing we want you to do is to leave a comment, give us some feedback. Let us know if there are any other topics that you want us to cover, and we will see you next time.